even if they don't knock the broads, there ain't enough tricks to go around.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking finger. Let's say that's the bad guy. Let's say that's the bad guy.
Never in the history of the game has it been such a tricks running low, cops pushing harder than ever.
See, I tried to be a friend, motherfucker.
What you think I am, huh? What you think I am, fucking wearing like you? I told you, right? I told you. Don't fuck with me.
When your so-called revolution starts, you call me, and I'll be right down front showing you how it's done. But until then, you need to shut the fuck up and grown folks is talking. You need to shut the fuck up and grown folks is talking.
Well, you stupid fuck. Cover you now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it? Yes. Then you know what I'm saying. Describe what Marcellus Wallace looks like. What? Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time. Black on. Bald. Does he look like a bitch? What? Does he look like a bitch? Oh! Then why you gotta fuck me like a bitch, man? Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Brett. You guys are bitch.
Myself, why we so like to be fucked by anybody except Mrs. Watt?
The recorder is on, Pimp Juice. The recorder is on, man. Okay, here we go. I'm still recovering from the niggatry, my friend. I'm still recovering from the niggatry, man. My life force, my life essence was almost crushed and diminished. Just like what you say on Facebook? Said, my God, Charles, the Sentinels are killing you. It's funny when you said that, man, because I was feeling just like that, man. I'm trying to tell you. Well, anyway, let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and explain the current situation to the fellow Mac City citizens, man. I just had a situation with darling Nikki. I came to the rescue and I saved her from a bout of homelessness. And once again, being true to the ratchetness in the hood rat formula, of course, it was not appreciated. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of like, I want to delve into the whole situation between hood bitches and dusty niggas. You know what I mean? You know, you came up with a nice little phrase. It's called, if you're going to ride for them, then be prepared to burn for them. You know what I mean? I want to kind of like get into that relationship also. And, wow, man. I don't know. Like I said, I'm still trying to get my mind right, man, about all the shit that I did. Some real swell shit for her, but it was just unappreciative. You know what I'm saying? Have you run into that sort of situation with the females you fuck with? And especially when they don't reciprocate and appreciate what you do, they seem to, I don't know, elevate the dusty nigga. You know what I mean? Can you speak to that?
Yeah. First thing you gotta understand, and I'm not going to get into too much historical background. Maybe I'm gonna keep it light because I think I may have a tendency to lose people. But I will say this:
okay,
you offend easily. To anybody that's offending easily, you need to hit that little red X in the corner,
okay,
of the window.
Right.
You have to understand, man. This is something we always talk about. The dusty niggas and the hood rats,
right,
are sort of mirror images of each other.
Right.
They're inverses.
Okay.
They're created for their purpose is to fuel the prison industrial complex. That's their purpose.
Okay.
That's their purpose. Think about it. Back during slavery, the slave master bred men to produce children
Right.
for the fields, for the labor in the fields.
Right.
Basically, this is the same sort of situation. It's just a different location. So anytime they do that, or anytime that must be done, you got to look at the environment. They come out of their environment. And what is their environment? Ignorance, poverty, crippling family structure.
Right.
A stupid ass mama that's probably in the street, or a lightning ass daddy. And the reason I say lightning is he's there in a flash and he's gone in a flash.
Right.
You see, so you got a whole group or a whole community of people that don't have any direction about anything. They don't have the basic, what the old folks used to say, home training. They don't have that.
Right.
They don't have it, and you can't expect it. The basic mother wit and common sense that would come from human reaction, they don't have it. The only thing they understand is opportunism. Really, they're children.
Damn.
They're children.
Okay.
Look at darling Nikki. She is a 12-year-old woman.
Yeah, buddy.
You see, everything is whatever feels good without any sense of responsibility, without any sense of maturity. Everything is just pure hedonism.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that smacks of responsibility, they're going to ignore that. They're going to ignore that. So when you're dealing with them, you have to understand gratitude is not something they're going to have, but it's something that they're going to develop by dealing with you.
Right.
They're going to be attracted to those dusty ass niggas. That's just their makeup. Until, time passes on and they can't pay their power bill, like darling Nikki.
Right.
Until they can't pay their water bill, like this rat I just got finished fucking with. You see what I'm saying? All of that goes to the point of their existence because they have been, this is social engineering. Let's just call it what it is.
No doubt.
It's social engineering. They need to produce ignorant ass offspring so that they can fuel the privatization of prisons. That's what it is.
Okay.
So that means the mother must be stupid.
Right.
The father must be stupid. Both of them primarily concerned with useless consumption, nigger trinkets,
Right.
and random useless information and a pursuit of stupid ass entertainment.
Let me keep
So
playing.
the dusty nigga will always be attracted to them. Always. And they will rep that nigga.
Right.
You know how it is. Loving me some him. Nigga will put him in jail. The dusty nigga will be the reason that they're in jail.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Another one of your freaks.
Right.
Pound cake.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody would not fucking around with her nigga. The nigga that she in love with, those dusty ass nigga she in love with, got her beat up, jumped on, got her sliced up and put in jail,
Right.
and she's still sniffing his balls.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? It's a pattern. What is that you always talk about, the Pavlovian response? It's a pattern, you see.
Yeah.
And we wind up with them. The reason we wind up with them is because we're the anomaly. But we can't change their natures.
Right.
And that's the whole thing. We can't change their nature. You can show them as much compassion as you choose to. But at the end of the day, you have to accept the fact that they are who they are. So they're going to be attracted to a nigga that's hyper-violent, a nigga that is incapable of critical thinking except at a predatory level, and then they don't even think that out.
Right.
Niggas And next thing you know, my spot got raided. Seriously?
Yeah, man.
I mean, you couldn't put that together. He left out my house scratching his left ear. No. And you still trying to wonder how you got busted. You see? But that's what's out there.
Right.
You know, you remember, what is it, Idiocracy? When they were in prison, taking the aptitude test.
Yep.
And the motherfucker was trying to put the square peg in the round hole and then covering it as though somebody's going to cheat off of it.
Yeah.
No, that's what you got out here, man. That's what you got out here. And there has to be a culling. In order for shit to return to normalcy, there has to be a culling of these people from the ranks. There has to be a culling of these people from the ranks. That's the only way.
Check this out, man. You know, in the midst of her coming up here, of course, she's homeless because of this nigga. Darla Nikki's homeless because of this nigga. You know what I'm saying? She just left a relationship with a nigga that she said that she couldn't stand and she didn't want to fuck with no more. And then she tells me, I'm not going to fuck with no more niggas like that. You know what I mean? I'm going to go
chase another one just like it.
They go chasing a nigga that's just
and his friend.
like, he
and they friends.
Yeah, these two niggas supposed to be friends. So this other nigga, he get with Darla Nikki, and Darla Nikki talking all this shit, of course, about how she's gonna find her a quality man. But of course,
that's not gonna happen.
He don't have no job, of course, and he's the he claimed to be a weed man, but of course he not a weed man because he getting high on his own shit, so he can never sell the shit to basically help her out with any sort of bill. So what ends up happening is she ends up supporting him. She ends up giving him money. She ends up basically wiping his ass. You know what I'm saying? She left her spot alone to move into his spot and to help pay his bills. And not to mention that, the nigga had like 2 pit bulls, and they lived in the same apartment complex. You know what I mean? So they didn't want the pit bulls staying with Nicole. She says, fuck it, we'll take the pit bulls and put them in my house. And the pit bulls tore up her shit, tore up her furniture, fucked up her carpet. You know what I mean? While this nigga spot was tight. You know what I mean? And so, of course, all the while, she's not paying her bills, not paying her veteran, not paying her power, shit, not paying her rent. Everything is going into this nigga shit, right? And I'm like, well, what the fuck are you doing? You know, all the while she's lying to me, telling me she's paying her shit, but she's not paying her shit. She's fucking it off, trying to take care of this money. She ends up having to sell drugs.
Yes.
You know, to try and get, to try and feed her kids. Yes. You know what I mean? And so, of course, shit goes down where she catches him cheating, and then she's mad, and then he kicks her out as well as his sister, because Nicole got cool with his sister.
Yeah, got to go.
Yeah, so he kicks her out. So now they homeless. They sleeping in their car, in her car for like 5 days. She knew not to ask me because she knew I was going to read her the riot act because I give her the speech 1,000 times a day. I'm like, go ahead. Yeah, I just told her. I'm like, so finally she broke down and was like, I'm cold and we hungry. We don't know where to go. I'll continue that later. But can you speak to that mindset, man?
It's like what I've been saying, bro. It's irresponsibility. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
There's no logic. You got to remember, it's just like another clan that we know, a den of motherfucking hyenas.
Right.
You see, there's no logic. No, it's just rampant emotionalism.
Right.
Whatever feels good, they pursue. Now, she never stopped to think that, okay, if I'm paying this nigga's bills, what happened to mine? But in a way, you also have to look at it, and I'm going to speak to your question in a minute, but I want to say this. It speaks to the inverse. It is a sort of karmic payback or certain karma that they get through the advantage that they get through the system.
Right.
These bitches out here do all kind of shit. And they got to damn near put a baby in a microwave to go to prison.
For real.
You see what I'm saying? So the system gives them every break possible, no matter how ratchet they are, to stay on the streets.
Right.
So when the niggas are dealing with them on the streets, they take advantage of that advantage for their advantage. So it's a kind of payback they get from being fucked over by the system at their expense. Now, let's talk about, you said the mentality.
Right.
These are women that are chasing their own tails. They're chasing their own tails. See, they don't know anything about responsibility. They got a chip on their shoulder. You see,
right.
They're weak and they know they're weak, but they're trying to project something else to you. They're trying to project how strong they are. You know, so there's no sort of, don't look for any rhyme or reason, because there's none there. There's none there.
Right.
You know, she isn't thinking about, she don't know how to balance a checkbook.
Right.
She don't know how to add bills up to run a house. She don't know how to budget. None of the things that come with being responsible has she been taught. But she know how to suck a dick.
Right.
She know how to bend over and get fucked.
Right.
She know how to do all that silly ass shit in the streets that she learned from somewhere, probably from her mama. You see, it's a learned behavior.
Right.
It's a learned behavior. It is just a small microcosm of a larger social experiment.
Shit, they put in they basically put in you know, let me see, the niggas and the bitches, they in a case of arrested development
Yes.
due to this whole social experiment that's going on. Because,
Yes.
you know, once again, especially speaking to the females, there are no consequences and repercussions for their bad actions. There are none. No.
None. And that's why the niggas take advantage of it.
Right.
Think about it. A nigga will put his weight on a female before he carry it.
Exactly.
Because he knows that ain't nothing gonna happen to her. You know, I'll give you an example. All right. I had a case where I got this motherfucker out of jail.
Right.
And it was 2 days before Christmas 2010. I never will forget it. I executed a bail bond, got the motherfucker out. He missed his very first court date. Of course, the phones are shut off. Now, I got the information from the bitch. Every stitch of information that bitch gave me was incorrect.
Right.
She had no type of remorse. She had no hesitation about screwing me over to save him.
Right.
Even though I'm helping him get out. That's the type of loyalty that these niggas demand from them.
Right.
Every stitch of information she put on my application was incorrect. Every stitch.
Damn.
The only thing that was correct was her name. Okay? So, of course, they ain't cooperating with me when it's time for me to go get this nigga because he missed court. Well, one of the things that was holding his punk ass in jail was, guess what? A dusty nigga's favorite activity, producing ignorant ass bastard children.
Right, okay.
So he had a child support case out of the juvenile court. And the judge said, well, if he gets bonded out on the criminal case, he could get out and go take the blood test, because they had him in there. He hadn't even been determined to be the father yet. But they knew he was the father. You just know things. You just know.
Okay.
So they said if he gets out on the bond, then, he can go take the test. Well, the nigga got on the bond, he never even went and took the test. And he just skipped court altogether.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So while this is going on and while he's running, now the bitch that came and lied on my application, her daughter is having a birthday party. He's supposed to be at the birthday party with her and her daughter.
Right.
Well, he tells this ignorant ass rat that he has some business to take care of elsewhere. And guess where he went?
Go fuck another bitch.
Not just another bitch, the bitch that put him on papers for the child support that put him in jail in the first place.
Okay.
And I thank God for his stupid ass horny loins, because that's how he got caught.
Right.
He was going and took this bitch. I'm talking about the one that signed him out. Took her car to go fuck the bitch who brought the case down on him. Met her downtown, and instead of them just driving to go do what they do, you know, he's playing with in the car, bumping her bumper.
Okay.
This is how stupid he is. He's downtown in traffic, tapping the girl's bumper, trying to play with her. Well, he caught the attention of the state patrol.
Wow.
The state patrol pulled him over, caught him, put him back in jail. Thank God for his fucking stupidity.
Right.
You know, you can set your watch to these niggas. You can.
Right.
But the loyalty that she had for him when he went to jail, somebody bonded him out. He skipped bond on them, but then he got caught. They caught him and put him back in jail. She decides to run his little drug empire.
Okay.
And gets busted out in Kettering with way more drugs on him, with way more drugs on her than what he had.
Okay.
Went in front of the judge. She was pregnant at the time, of course. You see this reoccurring theme?
Imagine that. Right.
Yeah, she's pregnant. Go in front of the judge. She come in there. She go find old simp ass preacher, and he goes in there and pleads her case and all of that shit and all that. The bitch escapes with probation, but he wound up doing 4 to 6 years in prison.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She got caught with way more shit than he did, but she's going on probation, but he went to prison.
Gotta keep him on the
And
street.
at his sentencing, the judge asked me what I wanted, you know, what were my recommendations. I told the judge he was irresponsible. He had no concept of manning up and dealing with the consequences of his actions. So if the court gave him life, I wouldn't care.
Right.
And all them niggas and hood rats looking at me like I was crazy.
You ain't no real nigga. You ain't no real nigga, Tony.
Yeah. I heard him whispering.
Right.
Lame, bitch ass bondsman. Call me whatever you want.
Right.
If you do this, I will do this to you. You see. No concept of responsibility. None.
Shit.
Zero. Incapable of critical thinking. Incapable of common sense. You don't go downtown. That's what the police station is. You don't go downtown bumping into somebody's bumper right in front of the police station. What the fuck are you doing? But that's the mentality that's out there. You have a generation of fools. And all these people that are saying they're the future, shame on you. Shame on you. You're lying and you know it.
Shit. Yeah, when I had her up in here, man, you know, of course, she's in dire straits. Her vehicle is about to get repossessed. She's homeless. And at the same time when all this is going on, and I have to say this about her, her spirit is unconquerable. She running around this mug, just a cheesing and just as happy. Like, you know, like this is, of course, like this is just business as usual. And it is. It's just business as usual. And she's like, okay, well, I'm about to go and I'm about to see my new Slim. And I'm like, look, nigga, didn't you just get out of a situation where you was just chasing worthless ass niggas? You know what I mean? Shouldn't you like be your ass in here on the phone trying to look for a job or something? But you want to go out and you want to smoke and kick it with a nigga on house arrest. What is wrong with you? Well, I don't get breaks often, and since I don't have my kids, and to her credit, she did take care of business while she was here. She did go ahead and get her PIP on, and when she went out there, I told her, I'm like, when you come back in this motherfucker, you better have some money. She did do that. She did go out and hustle up some money, however she did it. I'm pretty sure I know how she did it.
Yeah, you know how she did.
Yeah, but she got that money, and she got her utilities back on and shit. But god damn, man, I'm like, you just left a nothing-ass nigga. Now you chasing another nothing-ass nigga, which you
on
always
house arrest.
tell me. Yeah, on house arrest. And you told me that you wasn't going to do that no more.
You can't listen to shit they say, man.
No shit.
You can't, you throw that shit out the window. Because, excuse me, they'll be in your face talking about how they winning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm winning no matter what. I'm solid, no shake.
No shake.
Yeah, solid, no shake. And then at the same second, they text another motherfucker talking about, I need help, please.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The whole idea of normalcy, the whole idea of normality, you can forget it. It's just not there. It's just not there. They will function at just the level for them to be able to get up and do the same shit the next day.
Man.
That's the program.
Right.
That's the program. Eat, smoke,
Right.
sleep, fuck, produce children.
Right.
Start the process over again.
Mm-hmm.
Eat, smoke, sleep, fuck, produce children.
But people think that you crazy, Tony, when you talk about the aspect of social engineering, and they.
Well, they can think I'm crazy, but there's nothing new about this.
Right.
I mean, all they have to do is look at the ghettos of Europe.
Okay.
Look at the slums of Europe. Look at the writings of people like Thomas Malthus and David Ricardo. Read the Canterbury Tales. When they talk about this very same thing that I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, they call the dusty niggas in England. This is what they call the dusty nigga phenomenon. They call them those unfortunate bastards.
Right.
That are slated for the dungeons of the king.
Mm.
That's a direct quote.
Okay.
They said that the women bear the unfortunate scars of bastards whose little purpose is the immediate destruction of their whole bloodline.
So, yeah, I'm looking at this whole situation, and it boggles my mind how people can't see that this is this is on purpose, because everything that these females do, it's encouraged. All of it.
Yes.
Especially, just the aspect.
They're not, because people don't understand how the real world works. You have to understand, it is just, if there was ever a profound movie that was made, it would be The Matrix.
Right.
They don't know how it works, and some people are so dependent on the system, they're not ready to be unplugged.
Right.
And some people know it but won't accept it. What did the man say in The Matrix? He said, I know this steak doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but, when I eat this, it tells me it's juicy. It's juicy, and it's some other word he used. And then this is another direct quote. He ends that scene by saying, ignorance is bliss.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you have. You have a celebration of a culture where people are proud to be ignorant.
Mm.
You see, so you can't expect any type of normalcy or responsibility. It is a childlike predatory relationship and environment. That's all they know, and that's all they can regurgitate.
Shit. Yeah, just think how society would be is if you had a child and you did not get any assistance from the government. You think these females would be popping out these babies like that?
No, of course they wouldn't. Of course they wouldn't. But again, these kids, that serves a purpose, because again, they need a permanent underclass. Another movie.
Right.
People don't pay attention. People need to listen. to these movies. Because, see, we think that white folks are going to come to a town hall meeting. Niggas think white folks are going to come to a town hall meeting on race.
Right.
And tell you they don't like you.
Right.
They're not going. White folks are not going to come to no town hall meeting to tell you the obvious.
Okay.
It's just not going to happen. There was a dialogue in the movie Lean on Me where Morgan Freeman was talking to Robert Guillaume. He says that the community is being crucified by a process that's designed to make us a permanent underclass.
Lean on me, lean on me.
Special mix.
Can I get a yes?
No.
Why?
I ain't happy, cause I came back with these troubles to grab me, and they've gotten a hold on me. My oh my, things ain't what they used to be. Looks to me like Eastside got problems. Now it's time to see what we can do to solve them. Change for the better, letter, new rule be enforced to school so we can get rid of all the bad apples in the bunch. Clean up the walls and cook better lunch. Put the students in class where they should be. To stop roaming the halls and oh, could we please eliminate the drug situation? Stop smoking and get an education. Point blank, let's change the whole scenery. You need help? Well, hey, lean on me. Just lean on me. What do you do in a situation like this?
Special mix.
Like this. Like this. What do you do in a situation like this? Like this. Like this. Like this. What do you do in a situation like this? Get tough or get this. The job is yours to play the board and force the laws because the source is knowledge. Wanna go to college or wanna be garbage? It's up to you, so what you gonna do? I prefer to learn, cause this is for your own concern. You gotta earn however the world turns. So wake up and put some sense in your head. Don't be misled, use your brain instead. Cause a brother like me can't understand. You plan yourself cheap like a soggy old pamper. Since I'm around, I'm destined and bound to resurrect and perfect the entire school around. The whole entourage, a class so large under Joe Clark.
I'm the Hendrick in charge.
Man with the master plan for discipline. Making changes no matter what we twist the bed. You may not understand what this mean to me, but for your own good, just lean on me. For your own good. You may not understand what this mean to me, but for your own good, just lean on me. Just lean on me. Just lean on me.
Special mix. Special mix. Special mix.
your shit comes down on my head.
Oh, Frank, look,
No,
this
you
is...
let me talk. It's like you're a big bird with radar, and I'm tired of getting hit.
Is this my fault?
This is nothing. I've got union lawyers threatening me, and there's talk of a walkout.
Well, let them. They're not teaching anything down there anyway.
Then it's your job to do
Not
something
one
about
of them
it.
has a personal stake in that school, Frank. Not one.
The fire chief was just here. He says it's illegal to bar those doors. Mrs. Barrett is organizing a parents group to try to get you removed, since you insulted them at that meeting the other night when you suggested that they get off welfare.
Oh, I didn't mean
Because the fact is, quite a few of them need it.
I wasn't talking to all of them, Frank. Now, look, you came and recruited me, man. You disappoint me, brother. You disappoint me.
The disappointment here is you.
Me?
Yes.
Look, you know who I am. You know me 30 years. You knew what I would do. You know how
Nigga,
I
can you
operate.
keep quiet? The fact is, you're screwing up. You're alienating everybody. Look at you. You have no life. Your wife left you. I ought to walk out on you myself.
Well, go ahead. Bail the hell on out.
But I said I would back you up.
That's what you said, Frank. That's what you said.
Brother, I will go through the fire with you. But you are not taking care of business. This shit you're pulling now, you're just going plain loco. Now, you suspend Darnell. What the hell was that?
Darnell is symptomatic of the disciplinary problem
He is
that
a
we're having in
good,
this entire
strong,
system.
young black teacher. So he dumped that desk right on top of your head. Well, right on. Good for him. You will reinstate that man, you hear? And then you fire Mrs. Elliott. Why? Because she didn't want to kiss your ass. Well, I wouldn't either. How about that?
Mrs. Elliott has an ego.
Yeah, well, you lost the best teacher we had. We couldn't get her back now if we wanted to.
I don't have time for Mrs. Elliott's problem.
Well, you better make time.
We are being crucified by a process that is turning blacks into a permanent underclass here, Frank. A permanent underclass. No, see, nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody. Mrs. Elliott's missionary zeal about Mozart has nothing to do with our problem. Nothing. What good is Mozart going to do a bunch of children who can't go out and get a job?
Joe, your personal battles are going to cost us the war. Worry about the test scores.
What the hell you think I'm worried about, Frank?
End of discussion. Debate is over. You will write a formal apology.
I will what?
A formal apology for your treatment of Mrs. Elliott and Darnell and for your vicious and thoughtless insult to the women of this community. You will kowtow. You will step and fetch.
Frank, if you think you can
Get
make me...
used to it. It's the way of the world. If you're so hot on discipline, then goddammit, start by accepting mine. Because contrary to popular opinion, I'm the head nigger in charge. I'm the head nigger in charge. I'm the head nigger in charge.
See, prisons and poverty, that is the answer to economic inequality.
All right.
That's their answer. And don't bother with a moral solution because this is not about morality. It's about power.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to create a culture that's designed to lead people to prisons. They have to create that culture. Everything has to echo irresponsibility. Everything has to echo hedonism. Everything has to echo violence. Everything has to echo ignorance. So, unless if you want to choose to put your head in the sand, you can do that because you can choose to be stupid. And a lot of people are choosing to be stupid.
I guess it takes less energy to be stupid.
Takes less energy. See, it's hard, man, to look at your situation head on, look at how horrible it is, and then find a solution to it. That takes work. And you have people that are willing to just let themselves be led along like sheep. So they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. They don't care to see it. They don't want to see it. Just let Rome burn.
Yeah, it was fascinating, man. It was like I said, she had called me a couple of times and she had told me her situation, but you know how they do. They want you to volunteer your compassion and your services. You know, when she said she was homeless and she was sleeping in the car with all her kids. You know, and of course I did not extend the hand because I knew she was in this situation because of the present dusty nigga that she went ahead and elevated above a square nigga like me. You know what I'm saying?
She would be in that situation again.
Oh yeah, so she finally showed up at my door And so I guess she figured, well, calling him ain't getting the response that I want because he's not volunteering his services to save her. So she shows up. She pulls out the ace up her sleeve, right? Matter of fact, 2 aces up her sleeve. She show up with her so-called boyfriend's sister, dark-skinned honey with nice melons, and she show up with all her kids and all of, especially the youngest one, which was her girlfriend's brother. And he was like, maybe 4 or 5, and they out there freezing. It's like 30 degrees. So I'm like, damn, man, I like got them kids out there freezing with no coat. And I guess they got kicked out. They ain't have no coats. So I'm like, oh shit, okay, cyber pimp kryptonite. So I went ahead and let them on in, man. So
well, she was coming to exercise a trade. She was coming to bring a trade. What she was doing, she was bringing you, the other chick in exchange for shelter. Like I told you, when it comes to predatory intelligence, when it comes to, preying on, they're masters when it comes to that.
Right.
But when it comes to everyday real life responsibility, they're children.
Right.
I never will forget, it's another program I was watching. It was the story of Earl the Goat Manigault.
Right.
You know who that was?
Nah.
He was one of these street ball legends from Harlem, who he had a little brief career, and next thing you know, he was on drugs, typical nigga shit.
Right.
And here's what the white man told him. And his white coach, when the coach was trying to get him to come to practice, be responsible.
Okay.
Come to practice, join the team. Of course, he wanted something out of him, but I'm making a point. He was trying to, show him, look, you have to have these boundaries and regulations in order to get the type of life you wanted. See, Earl was just happy being a street ball legend.
All right.
And his coach was trying to teach him the real game. And the man told him this. He said, you know what your problem is, Manigault? He said, you people are good at playing games, but you don't know how to play the game.
No doubt.
And that encapsulates everything you're dealing with. See, she's good at playing games, but the fatal weakness in her whole plan, she doesn't know how to play the game.
Right.
So when she called you and ran down that tail of woe, you know what that script is. She wanted you to volunteer.
Right.
Because volunteering frees her of any obligation of having to do anything in return.
Right.
You see? So if you volunteer, she could just say you volunteered. She didn't ask you.
Yep.
So she don't have to do anything because you just volunteered. She didn't tell you she was going to do anything. She didn't offer anything. That was you. You asked her to come in. So she's free from any responsibility.
Yep, she knew that.
But she didn't understand the lessons we've learned from the power trick game.
Right.
She was out of a league. So she had to break down and bring something.
Yeah, and she brought something too, boy. It was a good, she was here for about 9 days, and about 3 of those days it was heaven, man. I had a ball, believe that. She brought something to the altar. She believe that. We had fun. Yeah, she knew, man, she couldn't come empty-handed, man.
But the thing is, she's short-winded. See, that's the moral of this stuff.
Right.
See, it's initially fun, but you can't make it. Again, it goes back to the 48 laws of power tricking. They can't see you all the time.
Right.
Because familiarity breeds contempt. You wear out your welcome.
And that she did. Good God.
Well, after a while, you got to deal with her fucking chain smoking. You got to deal with her constantly on the telephone talking to some old stupid ass nigga that ain't really gonna help her do nothing.
Right.
Or fighting some other stupid ass bitch over a stupid ass nigga that ain't finna do shit.
Right.
On the phone talking like she's 16
Mm-hmm.
instead of approaching 30.
This shit was crazy. I'm like, damn, put that fucking phone down and do something constructive. Fuck.
Mm-hmm. Not gonna happen. If she ain't on the phone, she texting on Facebook or playing Facebook games or some, everything outside of doing what's necessary to get on her feet.
Right.
Yeah, she'll suck a dick here there, make her money and turn her tricks because, that provides income, but not even that's exciting.
Right.
She's walking around here with, 4 or 5 kids? You can't compete with these new bitches straight out the Bass or off the coast.
Right.
She can't compete with them. So she is not even going to get a good return for sucking dick.
Man.
She's frozen in at the 40 spot.
Whew.
She can't even offer sex for a decent living.
Right.
She got a 40 spot her way around the city. Fuck with this nigga for 40. Fuck with that nigga for 40. Fuck with this nigga for 60. Fuck with... You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Bitch might as well be conducting a fundraiser.
Okay.
Or selling chicken or fish plates. About the same money for the same amount of time. And the same amount of work.
Right.
So, what I'm saying in essence is this. That's to be expected. Don't be surprised.
Right.
You see, these things happen. And right now, how much you want to bet she up under another dusty ass nigga?
I'm gonna lose that bet, man. Can't make that bet.
Yeah, you know you're gonna lose.
Shit. Hey, while I was here, she was talking to at least 4 cats on the phone through text and just talking. And not one of them niggas was worth really talking to, man. All of them was so-called selling something on the street pharmacy. I'm like, you can't never, ever find a motherfucker with a job. Never?
No.
Ever?
Because a motherfucker with a job ain't... See, it's another side to that you and I know very well, man.
Right.
Ain't no motherfucker with a job gonna want her, man.
Right.
And she know that, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's one thing that women don't understand. And I don't care what any of these motherfuckers... Once you start having children out of wedlock, you send a subliminal and subconscious message to men that you're not wifeable, you're fuckable. And no man is in a hurry to pay another man's bill.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen. So any nigga with a job, she had a nigga with a job that was working at McDonald's.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And she was over there licking balls and kissing him after she licking balls on Facebook, posting pictures of her kissing a nigga with a job.
Right. Mm.
They outlaw, irresponsible, and self-destructive.
Right.
So they're attracted to that which mirrors them because any nigga that has a job, he is a reflection of all of her flaws and imperfections.
Not to mention a nigga with a job is going to have some rules and regulations and boundaries. And you know that
she ain't gonna follow those.
Yeah, she ain't gonna fuck with that.
She'll follow those to a certain extent.
Right.
See, that dusty nigga anything goes with him long as she got his money, his stamps, his weed, or whatever.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? As long as he gets the fuck on her.
Right.
He just wants the ability to be able to control her when he wants to.
Right.
He don't really want her. He just wants control over her.
Right.
So as long as he can maintain some type of control over her, he really don't give a fuck about her welfare. Because he don't give a fuck about his welfare. He's the inverse of her. He's the male version of her.
Right.
So if he's able, if he's able to be responsible, if he's able to be irresponsible, if he's able to run the streets and fuck multiple, because he's doing what she's doing.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So there's an intuitive understanding between them two that there's no responsibility, but he wants that bitch to be there when he's ass out.
Yeah.
Now he ain't gonna be there when she ass out.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's when he stopped answering the phone and started sending us straight to voicemail. That's when she find out, oh, he got this other bitch over here, and he'll go get another bitch with more children. He'll go find another bitch with more children. He'll go find a bitch with 7 or 8 children. For the simple fact is, that's another place for him to post up. He'll go find another bitch just like her. You see, so she's interchangeable, but when he get tired, he want to be able to come back and fuck with her. So he needs to have a certain degree of control over her. That's the exchange. Okay. If he can come back when he gets ready, he don't give a fuck what she does.
Right.
Except fuck with that fat nigga.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I even met her dude. You know how we do it, man. You know, Bra introduced us as uncle. You know, she
Uncle,
like,
yes.
Yeah, you know,
This my Uncle Mike.
This my Uncle Mike right here. You know, and I met him, and he was real respectable. I kind of felt bad about her coming over, hooking me up all the time. You know, he was like, "Pleased to meet you, sir." And I was like, "Wow, man, kind of feel bad."
No, there's no. That's what I'm telling you. So I went through that too.
Right.
I went through that same situation because I'm banging on the broad.
Right.
Yes, man. And I kind of like her dude. But this is the situation. I had a little throwback because I like the guy.
Right.
But it's the situation we find ourselves in. See, when the universe is trying to reward you, you don't ask why.
Right. Got you.
You see. You have to be careful that you don't get draped off into that, you know, that abnormality where you start to see things in reverse. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't care.
Okay.
You know, and some people say, "Oh, that's cold, that's fucked up." I don't.
Right.
Because how many times has this nigga ran this same scam on multiple bitches?
For real.
I don't think that the white man should be the only beneficiary of dusty nigga stupidity.
Oh, okay. I feel you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know? Because they're preying on people.
Yeah.
And if you're preying on people, you're in the game of preying on people, you're going to get got.
Right.
The knight doesn't slay the dragon every day. Some days the dragon wins. And that's what these niggas have a problem understanding. You can't win all the time. You can't get away from the police all the time. You can't beat the case every time. You don't get to walk away with the dope and the money. That's not how it works.
Right.
That's not the real world. That's not how shit functions. The real world is you get caught, you go do a bid, and somebody else is fucking your bitch.
Right.
That's the real world. So I don't have any remorse over it. I don't have any hesitation over it. I don't care.
Yeah. Sure.
You see? Because it's the natural order of things. Because if you look at it,
My God. Hey.
Yes? May I help you?
Yeah, I heard y'all niggas is hiring. What's up?
Oh, yes. Here, why don't you fill out this application?
Making me right and shit. If I was white, you would be making me right.
Well, actually, originally I'm from the East Coast. But after my master's, I thought I'd take a break. So here I am. I was tired of living off of daddy.
Age, maintain, height, 6 deuce, baby. Father's name, I don't know. 6. Hell yeah, nigga. Salary desired. $3 million. Cash.
You know, being an Ivy Leaguer can be such a leg up. You know, I spent 5 years at Harvard.
Oh, really? I just spent 6 months at county. Anybody ever try to take your man who...
Then he sees the warden coming, so he hides you, but you still got that plunge in your ass. So you just squeal and crying. Don't you hate when that happens?
Let's get out of here. He's crazy.
Hey, where y'all going? Lock Dog, Mr. Loke Dog?
That's me.
Oh, you're next.
Mr. Lock Dog?
Hey, what's up, baby?
Yeah, right.
You all right?
Yeah, no.
All right, go out?
Yeah. Energy, eager man. Yes, I like that. Right this way. Let me just move this. So, let me see. Very interesting. I see your hobbies are drinking, smoking weed, and all types of ill shit.
Yeah.
Do you drive an automobile?
With or without the boot?
Doesn't matter. Well, congratulations. You got yourself a job. Right on, huh?
Hey, where the seatbelts at?
Don't worry. They won't be necessary.
Hey, man, how you work this radio?
We are being crucified by a process that is turning black into a permanent underclass here, Frank. A permanent underclass. Class.
She was there with you, eating your food,
Right.
under your roof, burning your electricity,
Right.
your gas, and your water.
Exactly.
Honestly, other than the first 3 days, do you think that her contribution was equivalent to your sacrifice?
Oh, hell no, nigga. It wasn't even close.
Wasn't even close.
Wasn't even close, boy. And like I said, like I told you earlier, you know, it would have been different if she made an effort to basically show that she was appreciative. You know, but she didn't. I gave you the scenario where she wouldn't take out the fucking trash. She wouldn't clean up the goddamn kitchen. You know, all she would do is chain smoke and talk on the phone and gossip and talk shit and run out in the streets chasing niggas on house arrest. I'm like, God damn. I'm like, shit. And then then I told you about the situation where bitch wouldn't even cook. I'm like, damn.
Well, let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
Where's her mother?
Her mother's locked down.
Locked down where? In what?
In prison.
Okay.
Right.
So, nobody else is out here
Right.
for her. Not the niggas that she been fucking. Not the niggas that she been paying to basically lay with.
Right.
Nobody's there
Right.
but you,
Right.
Uncle Mike.
And this is how you repay me.
Yeah.
But of course, like we always say, me and you don't really ever expect a chick to roll through with some common decency. You know, we pretty much accept them for they are.
You can't take this game is not a game of short-term return.
Right.
It's not. Because you have to take the long way around. Right. You have to. Because if you want short-term gains, you're going to be frustrated. You can't compete with the short-term excitement of the dusty nigga she chasing. Because you can't descend to that level of ignorance.
Right.
That's not in your DNA. But that's what attracts and excites her.
Right.
You can't compete with that, and you shouldn't want to compete with that. So why would you fight on their terms?
Shit, if you were a fool, yeah, you would try. You would try and fight.
Try.
Yeah.
So, you know, like we always say, or like it's always said, this is chess, not checkers. You have to make some sacrifices. Rook sacrifices, queen sacrifices usually lead to checkmate.
Yeah.
Time is the greatest asset that you possess in this. Anytime you're dealing with a dusty-ass nigga or you're dealing with a hood rat, you have to take the perspective of time. Just like that case I was telling you about where that nigga jumped on and that bitch gave him that false information. Time. All I had to do was sit back.
Right.
And plot. And let the passing of time, let their own natures, let their own habits become the instruments of their destruction.
Right.
Because that's how the story ends. That's how the story ends. It's almost like a really bad version of the Three Stooges. You know, every time they think they got a master plan in effect, they overlook some small detail that brings down the whole fucking plot.
Right.
That's what you're dealing with.
My thing is, you know, with her, like I said, you know, we got such a deep and rich history. And Nicole, if you're listening, I love you, but fuck you too, bitch, because you irritated the shit out of me with that sucker move you did with not cooking. But with me, what hurts me, this what hurts me, man, because it's not like I feel it's directed towards me. I'm not really thinking on that level. What I'm looking for when I deal with her, I'm looking for her to mature. You know what I mean? The longer she's out here, the more she does dumb shit. It kind of hurts me to the fact because I don't want to see her fucked up. I don't want to see her struggling. And when she comes in here and she does just little shit like that, that shows me that she is not matured. She has not learned her lesson. And she is doomed to repeat and go into this cycle, man, where it's just always going to be chaos and confusion. You know what I mean?
But Matt, that's the whole plot.
I understand that. I understand that, you know, really that's advantageous to us. The more chaos.
No, I'm not talking about advantage. Fuck the advantage. Let's just look at it.
Okay.
Let's just look at it.
Right.
They're not in an environment to where they mature. People like this don't mature until they're ready for Social Security.
Right.
Because, like you said before, their development has been prematurely arrested.
Right.
Now, does that mean that they don't know that they fucking up? Of course they know that they fucking up.
Right.
But the maturity level of being able to deal with the consequences is just not there. Forget about that's the whole plot.
Right.
That's the whole plot that this sets into motion. Because they perpetuate their own poverty. They perpetuate their own problems. That is the scheme of the social engineering.
Shit.
You have created a person that is incapable of rational, critical thinking. Because when you're in someone else's house where you're not paying any bills, what you do, the rational person would say, I'm going to do the best I can to ease the inconvenience.
Right.
It's like when a nigga borrow your car, right?
Right.
When he borrow your car, your gas tank is full. He take your car, drive it, and bring it back, and it's past empty. But then we'll turn around and say, well, I'm going to need your car again next week.
Yeah, man.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
These things are things that they're without because that's not how they function. That's not how they're wired to function. It's like what they are is a kind of genetic suicide bomber.
Right.
That's what it is. A social or a biological suicide bomber. You know, well, I should say psychological. So they will self-destruct. The bomb is beautiful when you're making it and you're connecting all the wires. But when that shit blows, there's nothing going to be pretty about it.
Right.
The only thing is they just repeat the process. And the dusty nigga is the necessary equation in order to make that bomb detonate.
For real.
The dusty nigga is the blasting cat.
Okay. Yeah. Cause shit, almost every time she's ended up in the gutter, it's always been because she's
dusty nigga.
A dusty ass nigga, man.
Yeah. The plot never changes.
Right.
The plot never changes, bruh. Just the actors.
Yeah.
So, whereas before, it was 20.
Right.
Well, now it's not 20.
Right.
It's some other nigga. Okay, well, now he's gone. Now it's his friend. Well, now he's gone. It's someone else.
Yeah, sitting back and, the whole time she was here, I'm thinking, of course, rationally, I'm thinking if I was posted up in somebody else's spot, just like you said, I would try my best to show my appreciation. You know what I mean?
You want to ease the inconvenience.
Yeah, like I said, I put the trash bags right next to the door, so whenever she went out to go see her nigga on house arrest, I'd see, just a little test to see if she would pick up the trash bag, take it out, put it in the dumpster. Think she did it? No, bitch walked right past the trash bag.
And kept pushing.
I have to tell her, hey, look, before you open that door, pick up that trash bag. I had to give her specific, strict instructions on what to do. I pick up the trash bag, walk through the door, put it in the dumpster. Okay, she had no problem doing what I said she needed to do, except for the cooking part. She was real, obedient and real respectful, but volunteering some shit, nigga, she wasn't volunteering to do shit. Oh, God damn.
Because that's called obligation and responsibility.
Right.
That's a level of maturity that girl is incapable of.
Right.
That's where all of the nasty ass sex comes from. So you have a person bred with a whore mentality.
Okay.
And the only thing she knows how to be is a whore. Now, that doesn't mean that, that she's totally just a monster. That's what it is. That's the creature that is just like if you you on the plains of the Serengeti.
Right.
And you bump into one of them lions. That lion don't know shit about good or evil.
Right.
He's hungry. That animal don't know anything about good or evil. You think he's evil because he's eating you, but he's just hungry.
Right.
So you're not dealing with a person that's immoral. You're dealing with a person that is in a lot of sense, in many senses, amoral.
Okay.
So they're going to gravitate towards something that reinforces that amorality.
Man.
Well, I mean, it's not, it's what it is. That's why whenever I have them over at my spot, the maximum you can spend is 1 day.
Yeah.
Because that's enough for me to get tired of you.
Ooh. That's the truth.
And the danger is that if you spend too much time around them, it will totally fuck up your circuit. You will need time to rewire yourself. You can't plunge headlong into that level of niggardry and not be affected. Your IQ will literally drop within days.
Not to mention the fact I started to seriously dislike her. And that's almost impossible with Nikki, man, because like I said, in short spurts, she's a ray of sunshine. You feel me? But nigga, them 9 days, I was like, man, I was literally, man. I mean, I was having visions of choking the shit out this heifer, man. I was like, man, I can't wait for your shit to get, oh man.
But that proves what you were saying.
Right.
The only nigga that's gonna put up with her is gonna be a nigga just like her.
Right.
But the problem is that the nigga just like her is not gonna put up with her.
Right.
So it has to be a succession of niggas that she fuck with.
Right.
That's how the game is set up. There are no big mics out there with a ring for her. But there's a 20.
Right. Mm-hmm. Shit, man.
There's a Scooby. There's a Cedric.
Right.
Those type of niggas are out there all day long. And they ain't offering nothing.
Right.
So the whole process must continue.
So basically what you're saying is this is all by design.
It's by design.
The whole social engineering situation is basically brought down through the government to basically subjugate black folks into a permanent underclass, and this is how they're basically doing it with
government and elite,
with ratchets and dusty niggas.
Yes.
That's a conspiracy.
Because ignorance leads to prison. Yeah. If you have a culture or a lifestyle that doesn't relate to responsibility, right. You have a culture or a lifestyle that pretty much has a disdain for intelligence. You have a culture that has a disdain for responsibility and maturity. Where do you think you're going to end up?
More likely in prison.
In prison. They need to fuel the prison industrial complex. Why? Because the prisons are becoming privatized. Corporations and banks are buying prisons. And once corporations and banks buy prisons, you don't give constitutional rights to property.
Right.
You're not required to give property a decent meal. It's property.
So you're saying they purposely leave the ratchets on the streets to reproduce, to basically feed.
They need both. They need, just like during slavery, they need to produce. It's a form of 21st century slavery. But what happens is, think about this. The reproduction goes on in the slave quarters. The slave quarters is not a nice place.
Okay.
It's fucked up, it's dirty, it's nasty. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you have to create an environment where you can reproduce these broken families. And then you have to figure out a way to get them back in the labor apparatus. Because as these corporations began to buy these prisons, see, in the 80s and 90s, in the early part of the 21st century, you had these corporations that were going overseas to third world countries and getting labor from these third world countries, and avoiding taxes.
Okay.
Well, now they don't have to go overseas. All they have to do is go to Big Sandy. All they have to do is go to the Correctional Institute in Warren County.
Okay.
All they have to do is go to the prison in Chillicothe. They can literally have a large pool of labor inside of the prison. They can get that labor cheaper for what they can pay the Mexicans or illegal immigrants. So you have to keep that kind of apparatus full. You have to keep bodies. You have to keep bodies.
Oh, shit.
So you have to breed. You have to breed children for labor.
Wow.
So their music has to say that.
Right.
Their movies has to say that. Their books have to say. Everything has to reinforce this idea of this irresponsible hedonism.
Mm-hmm.
See, because in that world, you don't take the trash out.
You sure fuck don't. Like, damn, bitch, take that trash out.
In their world, you don't clean up or wash dishes.
Mm-mm-mm.
You might take a shower and then you just go on out in the streets and do what you want to do.
Right. Mm-hmm. Shit. And, it's like some cats is... to me, it's just so simple to see because, like I said, when you look at the laws that are put down as far as how to deal with women in the legal system. He said, man, it's like no accountability, no sort of punishment whatsoever. They let these bitches right back out. A bitch could have tried to cut your throat, man. That bitch is out in a day.
And if you want to get even deeper about it, you skew their perceptions. You skew their perception of right or wrong. Example, China Arnold.
Right.
Baby killing ass China Arnold.
Right.
Now, she got her criminal case overturned just because of a simple procedural technicality. It had nothing to do with her being innocent.
Right.
This bitch killed a baby.
Wow.
And you got these stupid assholes in the Bass and on the coast to my free China Arnold. It was a frame-up.
Right.
China Arnold is not Nelson Mandela. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The concept is to skew their perception of reality. Nobody else is there. How did the fucking baby get into the microwave? How did that happen? Who put the baby in the microwave? Why didn't someone call when that child was not breathing? You know, basic shit, simple shit that any rational motherfucker would think about.
Shit.
And yet, they run here to my free China Arnold.
May I help you, sir?
How much for an order of ribs?
$2.50.
$2.50? How many ribs do I get with that?
About 5.
5? So I guess that's about 50 cents a rib, huh?
Yeah, about.
Okay, let me get one.
Right on. One order. One order ribs.
No. One rib.
One rib.
I sure am hungry.
Make that one rib to go.
One rib?
One rib. What else?
You got any soda?
$1.
Oh, come on now. Look out for a brother, man. Come on. Hey, check this out. Why don't you let me get a sip for 15 cents?
My cups cost more than 15 cents.
All right, fuck the cup. Pour it in my hand for a dime.
Look, you greasy-headed Jerry Curl Wan. Pay me and get the hell out of my store.
You got change for 100?
Look, we're gonna need an orthopedic surgeon to remove my foot from your ass.
Hammer. No, brother, don't do it. You know the customer is always king. Hammer!
That's it.
Sweetheart, we got a lot to discuss, kid. Your relationship is withering. Don't walk away from me. Come hither and listen. Cause I speak straight up, so let it go. Sorry, baby, but your man ain't all that. Before you verbally stomp me, just wait a sec and explain why you're always looking wrecked. By now, any other lady would have just had it. Looking depressed and battered, shattered. Dreams of you two being the perfect idol. The feelings you have, try to fight them. Cause your man's a conniver, so stay alert. Mark my words, you're gonna get hurt. Does a man abuse you physically or mentally? Changed when I was slavery, you need to be free. So you need to swing my way, my way. You're right in a fly way, fly way. But once you choose, girl, you won't be abused. So baby, you need to swing my way, my way. Baby, you need to swing my way, my way. You're right in a fly way, fly like the man you is now. I keep my hands to the sun. So baby, you need to swing my way, my way. It's treated and used like a towel. And when he gets busted, he thinks that he's an owl. Your eye is puffy, the jaw is swollen. You shouldn't be smacked and made to cuddle and hold him. Caress and snuggle like a teddy bear. His attitudes change, begin to put fear in your heart. But you depart from being afraid. Many thoughts of leaving will crush so you stay. Saying what he did before, he won't do again. He wants more of a lover and less of a friend. Catch my drift, you're put to the test, so you're refusing to struck with a left blow. for rejecting your man. Hey, now you're crying on the floor. Your man's no damn good. Need I say more? So you need to swing my way, my way. Do you right in a flower, flower. You should choose, girl, you won't get used. So baby, you need to swing my way, my way. Baby, you need to swing my way, my way. Do you right in a flower, flower. You make me look down, I'll keep my hands to myself. Baby, you need to swing my way. Now I'm not saying I'm an angel, I got many associates. I treat them all right and appropriate. I'm not talking marriage and settling down, but I can treat you much better than that clown. No matter what I say, you still seem to protect him. No matter the amount of times you hit, you respect him. Damn, if you only knew how much affection could be given to you if you roll the right way, which is my way. Forget what your so-called boyfriend might say. You're too good for his kind. Widen your horizons and focus your mind on a real man. I won't sweat you or keep stressing it. I'll buy your clothes, but pay your rent. It's kind of pressing it. So tell me, who do you choose? Here's an ultimatum, either win or you lose. I want you to swing my way, my way. I need you. You're right in a flower, flower. I want you to choose, girl. Baby, you need to swing my way, my way. Baby, you need to swing my way, my way. You're right in a flower, flower. You make me look down, I keep my hands to myself. Baby, you need to swing my way, my way. Baby, you need to swing my way. You're right in a flower, flower. I want you, I want you, yes I do. Baby, you need to swing my way, my way. Baby, you need to swing my way, my way. I need you. You're right in a flower, flower. You make me look down, I keep my hands to myself. Baby, you need to swing my way, my way. Baby, you need to swing my way, my way. You're right in a flower, flower. I'm the one you should choose, girl. You know you. So baby, you need to swing my way, my way. Baby, you need to swing my way. And I need you. You're right in a flower, flower. I want you, yes I want you, girl. So baby, you need to swing my way, my way. I want you, got to have you, I need you. You need to swing my way, my way. Baby, you need to swing my way, my way. You can do your right in a flower, flower. To make me look down, I keep my hands to myself. So baby, you need to swing my way, my way.
You can also see that in, just the whole domestic violence situation, how females, they real quick to jump froggy with a nigga, man. They real quick to get in your face and you can't do this and you can't do that. And they quick to swing on you. And then when you swing back and cold cock that bitch, then all of a sudden you a punk. Like, you hitting on bitches. I'm like, and that's what's wrong with the world today, man. There's no checks and balances. They've, this whole social engineering situation has given the female carte blanche just to be an agent of chaos and do whatever the fuck she want when she want.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to work, though.
Right.
The female is supposed to be over the male, but then turn around, the children are supposed to be over the female.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the children are going to be the next generation to continue this whole process.
Right.
So you have to shake up the basic foundation of things. You have to make everything function in the reverse.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Right.
You have to do that. So now you got a situation where the women are becoming masculine and the men are becoming feminine.
Right.
This is warfare. This is a form of warfare upon humanity and society. Well, humanity is society. I don't want to repeat myself, but it is a war upon humanity. These things are happening because they serve a very specific purpose, because a group of people absolutely believe that the resources of this planet belong to them and they were delegated by God to control it. And they must check any threat to the control and the supremacy over those resources of this planet. So they have to create a situation where humanity is basically cannibalizing itself. You can't have healthy relationships. I wrote the chicken and beer.
Okay, yeah.
Chicken and beer. People don't know, and here is the purpose, and I don't want to go too far off, but anytime you have stability in a third world country, that stability is based on the fact that the elite of that country is working hand in hand with Western banks and corporations. Mm-hmm. And they've pushed the dispossessed in that country so far below the level of survival to where these people have no recourse but to revolt. They're beyond any type of recognizable level of subsistence. These people revolt, they throw out these elite, and of course these elite are running hand in hand, like I said, with the Western banks and corporations that are usually the power or the backing behind Western intelligence agencies to foment instability in the country to keep everything the way it is. Well, when these people are finally thrown out, they come to this country. And when they come to this country, you got to have something to do with these people. You got to have a means for them to survive because they are intelligence assets. And they're wealthy people from a country that they've been thrown out of due to a lot of fuckery and chicanery. So what do? They absorb them into the economic infrastructure, but they got to have a way for these people to eat. Mm-hmm. You're not going to set up a business full of Vietnamese or Cambodians or Laotians out in Centerville or Kettering. Mm. People would catch on to that shit. Where all these Cambodians come from?
Right.
See, that would arouse suspicion. But you got to put them in a place that will allow them to make money. Mm-hmm. You got to put them in a place that will allow them to make money. You got to find a community where they would blend in, where they would be able to move undetected, silently, and make their money. And the area that you put them in has to be an area where there's no competition.
Right.
They don't have to worry about having to deal with an independent economic base. Where's the one place where you don't have to deal with an independent economic base?
Shoot, motherfucking Niggerville, man.
Okay. Now, what are the characteristics of Niggerville? See, this is going to come back to what we're saying. Okay. What are the characteristics of Niggerville?
Shit, no.
Do you think Niggerville contains a two-parent household?
No.
Do you think the children are, for the most part, need goods and need certain goods and consume candy and, shit that ain't good for them?
Yeah, rampant, blatant, ridiculous consumerism.
Mm-hmm. So if there are no two-parent households, and if the area is an area that doesn't contain an economic base, an independent economic base, then it is an area that is necessarily poor. It is an area where there is no rational masculine principle.
Right.
It is an area where people do nothing but consume. And the consumption is not based upon anything that will help them to compete with the people that they're buying the shit from.
Right.
So if a bitch is irresponsible and don't want to cook, they're going to go buy the chicken wings.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If she's irresponsible, and she doesn't want to use what she has at her disposal to keep herself up, she's going to go buy accoutrements that she believes will make her look more attractive. That's why the Koreans and the Asians will sell the weave.
Right.
And the process that I'm talking about, I'm going to be very specific. That's what happened with the Cubans. That's why the Cubans control Florida politics. See, people always talk about the Jews, but the Cubans are much more effective, and they fly beneath the radar.
Okay.
When they threw out Fulgencio Batista, all those white Cubans came to Miami and places in South Florida. They were running a program called Operation Mongoose under the command of a man by the name of General Ed Lansdale. A name that I'm sure people do not know, but Ed Lansdale was a true American gangster.
All right.
That program was budgeted $300 million annually. It was the largest domestic CIA station in the country at that time. They had like 50 fake business fronts for laundering money. And who do you think participated in that type of economic infrastructure? Those white Cubans that had been kicked out the country.
Okay.
They simply took those businesses from that black op program and they created an economic base in Miami, Florida. And took over the economic base of ghetto-ass areas like Liberty City, home of 2 Live Crew. They controlled it politically and they controlled it financially or economically. So this scheme of dusty niggas and hood rat bitches is an economic solution for the elite to continue control over the resources, either by putting them in prison or making them ignorant-ass, mindless consumers that will eventually produce ignorant-ass offsprings that will lead to where? Prison.
Shit.
You remember Living Color?
Right.
Living Color with Homie the Clown. He had this game called Ghetto Monopoly.
Okay.
Which was a cardboard with spaces drawn on it. You remember that shit?
Yep.
And he had the Cheeto going around the board. And he rolled the dice and the Cheeto stopped on Park Place. He says, I got Park Place. He said, no, you can't afford to live on Park Place. You've been caught by the police on Park Place. So guess what? You go to jail.
Right.
The dude picked up the dice and rolled the shit again. He said, pass go. It says pass go, get $200. He said, no, you can't get $200 because you don't have a job. So you go to jail.
Man. Truth, stranger than fiction. Boy.
He said, I want to buy a hotel. You don't have any money to. Then he hit him over the head with the sock. Pow.
Right.
You can't buy a hotel. You don't have any money. You're in a hotel with no money. You go to jail.
Shit. Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
I just want you to come clean, man. I just want you to come clean and just admit you just jealous of the swag of the dusty ass nigga, man. That's,
yeah, right.
That's just come out and just come clean.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's what some niggas would probably be saying right now. Nigga, you just mad because the dusty nigga got the bitch.
Okay.
Let's
do that.
Okay.
let's go there. Let's play that. Let's play that card, right?
Okay.
I'm mad that the dusty nigga got a bitch with 5 kids.
Yep, that's right.
Really?
Yeah, really.
A bitch with 5 kids. No social skills.
Right.
Won't cook, won't clean. And is constantly broke or in jail.
Right.
Seriously?
But dig, this is what they're saying. This, because I've talked to these niggas ad nauseum. I think what it is what they're saying is you're hurt deep inside because even though this bitch is a total loser, she still won't choose you, but she'll choose this other nigga. So what kind of a nigga what kind of a nigga are you when a loser bitch like that won't choose you?
I see what you're saying.
Right.
I see what you're saying. Well, let me answer that question.
Okay.
I'm an everyday nigga.
Right.
No more, no less.
Right.
But what they're trying to say is there's some jealousy.
Right.
What you're saying, right?
Right.
Because if you have so much going on, that must be a strike against you because the bitch won't choose you because you're clearly the obvious choice.
Right.
So you must be twice the loser that you're claiming this nigga is.
Exactly.
Because, this bitch won't choose you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Let me say this.
Okay.
In life, with anything else, people make choices.
Mm-hmm.
But that bitch's choice does not determine how I feel about myself.
Okay.
Because I know what I bring to the table.
Right.
Okay? So because a bitch may want an irresponsible nigga, or she may want to fuck with an irresponsible nigga, that doesn't make me feel any less about myself today than I felt yesterday.
Right.
But I will be honest with you, since we're being honest.
Right.
I did once upon a time used to wonder, what was it about me?
Mm-hmm.
Let's answer that question. That's a very good question. Let's get into that. What is it about me that these bitches would rather choose the loser?
Right.
I thought about that, and I thought that way till I seen what it took to keep these bitches.
Mm-hmm.
Till I seen all the trouble you had to go through to keep these bitches. Till I saw the total cost of being with them. I did used to think those niggas were lucky. I did used to think they had more game until I seen what they were getting.
Right.
Until I start seeing what it cost me.
Shit. And you can see.
And then once I saw what it cost me, I began to look at it and say, well, no.
Right.
There has to be a way where I can still get this off and be able to put this bitch back where I got her from.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So initially, let's say they were correct.
Okay.
Until I started actually dating some of these bitches.
Yeah, man.
Until they start wanting me to sign for shit.
Mm-hmm.
Until they start trying to run welfare scams with my name. I wasn't jealous any longer.
Right.
Until I start seeing all the fuckery that comes with them. Once I saw all the fuckery that comes with them, I was no longer jealous of the nigga with swag.
Okay.
I looked around at my classmates that had swag. The ones with swag are in prison.
Okay.
Or somewhere doing some low-paying job, demeaning low-paying job. They're not quite so popular anymore.
Okay.
So I'll say that time and experience has changed that perception. So if they had made that criticism 20 years ago, it would have been valid.
Okay.
But today it's not. Because it's 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And this bitch that I wanted now has 4 or 5 kids. This bitch that I wanted, that I was jealous of another nigga for taking, cost me $200 a day to be with her.
Mm-hmm.
This bitch that I wanted constantly has problems. This bitch that I wanted, her water shut off. This bitch that I wanted is maxed out. Her credit cards are fucked up.
Right.
And I'm not the nigga to deal with that. So go back and find the nigga with swag. That's the one you looking for.
Right.
I ain't even mad no more.
Okay. Shit.
So from that perspective, 20 years ago they would have been correct. But 20 years later, I'm laughing at that.
Shit,
because I know, at the end of the day, even with all that swag, I'm still gonna fuck that bitch. So I hope that answers your question to the people that's listening. See, at the end of the day, this fat square nigga,
right,
is still going to deposit my nuts squarely in her mouth. So you go ahead and keep swag.
Right.
I'm going to keep my money, and I'm still going to fuck your bitch. Whether you like it or not. And you know what? She's going to call me.
Right.
Not you. Case in point.
Okay.
Since we on that subject.
Right.
It's this little, you remember that bitch I sent you the pictures of, her?
Oh, yeah, fine little motherfucker. Yeah, the one with the bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, woo.
She went back and talked all that shit.
Right.
You know, I never back with him. He's square. And the bitch she was fucking with was talking about robbing me.
Right.
Right? Okay. So she's all on Facebook. I love talking about the dusty nigga.
Yeah.
The dusty nigga. Let's just deal with it. The dusty nigga, the nigga that got more swag than me.
Okay.
She on Facebook repping him hard.
Okay.
Hard. I love bae. You know, we solid, no shake.
Right.
I get a call this morning. I need help, please. I need $30. I don't have food for my baby.
Sucks to be you, bitch.
I'll do whatever you want. I know you like head, so I'll give you head.
Right.
And I asked that magic question. And I'm going to ask this to the people that are listening. Where's the nigga with swag? This bitch is ready to gobble balls for $30. So should I be jealous of that?
I should say not, nigga, because she's obviously ain't no true ride or die bitch if she run around gobbling nuts for $30 and she claim to be in love with some other nigga.
You know how slick she is, right?
Right, yeah, she bad bitch.
So now the nigga with swag, if we use that, I'm jealous.
Right.
Because they're choosing him.
Right.
Because she's choosing him.
Yeah.
She's not choosing him. She's obeying a program. But I know she's coming to me, and I don't have to call her. Hell, he don't even call her. He's fucking other bitches.
Right.
But she's coming to me.
Shit.
So the answer to that question is that at the end of the day, I'm still sitting on top of the food chain, bitches.
Oh, shit, that's real.
So there's no reason for me to be jealous. And I learned that through time and experience.
Yeah.
Time is my friend. Because at the end of the day, people are what?
Suckers for the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Since you and I have done this podcast, we've been on this phone, she sent me about 10 messages.
Shit.
Begging me to come get her.
Shit. Hey, you know, once again, what did Batman say? What did he say about saving him? He said when he was on the train with Ra's al Ghul.
He said, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you either.
And that's the position you in with these bitches, man. Shit.
There you go.
Shit. So shit.
I don't have to kill you, but I won't save you. I don't have to save you either.
You ain't in no losing.
So the whole jealousy thing isn't really applicable if you look at it from the long-range perspective. Because to us, it's a game of numbers and cooperation in the first place. And it's executed from a position of time.
Right.
We know how this works. We know that Man and Duracell are not going to pay the DP&L. We know that Man and Duracell are not going to be responsible.
Right.
We know that bitch got to eat. We know that bitch need a roof over her head. So why would you want to be jealous of a nigga that you can't compete with on his grounds of niggardry and irresponsibility?
Niggas got to know their tools and work with the tools they got.
Work with your tools. Mm-hmm. You have to see the value in your tools. So that criticism would work. That criticism would work if I looked at it from the perspective of him being the superior.
Right.
But I know he's not the superior.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's going to prison in the next 2 or 3 years.
Right. Mm.
I'll still be on the street and I'll still be fucking her while he's locked up. And that's what I'm doing now.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking a chick whose nigga is locked up.
Mm-hmm. Shit. And you ain't got to really deal with all that extra shit that come with a so-called bona fide relationship. You know what I'm saying? You can cut her off anytime.
I mean, in some instances, you know, you wind up dealing with them because in some instance you have to, as I said before, be able to respond to their needs, but you can't get drug off and all the rest of that shit.
Right.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to know what you have to offer. So I'm not jealous because I know that I will be able to fuck this bitch.
Mm-hmm. Shit.
There's no reason for me to be jealous or resentful because I know I'm going to end up fucking her regardless.
Mm-hmm. And she cooperating and she like to fuck you too. Shit.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Now
that doesn't mean that she's going to stop being irresponsible.
Right.
That doesn't mean that they're not, because at the end of the day, yeah, they're going to fuck with you, but they're creatures of habit.
Mm-hmm.
They're creatures of habit. But you don't deal with that shit. I don't have to deal with all that fuckery that go on in their life.
Man.
And I'm still going to get what I want. Whether he's in jail or on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no impetus for me to be resentful of that nigga. Because yes, she chose him. And that makes him the unlucky one.
Man, You know, that nigga that Nicole just got done beefing with, he kicked her out of his spot. He about to get evicted now because there's some shit going on about, because actually Nicole was the one that's actually bringing in most of the money with her hustle.
Okay.
So he kicks her to the side for a nothing ass bitch that he's fucking. And not to mention there's some shit going on with the lease, because when he kicked Nicole out with his own sister, the sister took their baby brother. It was some bullshit, but there's some fuck shit going on over there. And this nigga, he's soon to be
jealous, Matt?
Yeah, I'm jealous, man.
Ain't you resentful of that?
I'm real resentful of that shit, man.
If he did all that, don't look at all that he got over. He got more swag than you don't.
Oh, he got tons of swag.
He got tons of swag, right?
Yeah,
Okay, now answer me this question: is Nicole coming back?
To who? Me?
Yes.
Nigga, it's like breathing. Yeah, she coming back.
So ain't you jealous?
Of course. Of course I'm jealous of the nigga with swag. Of course.
Yeah.
but dig.
Don't you? If she choosing him, what does that say about you?
Well, like I said, hey, Facebook don't lie. You know what I'm saying? After she left here, you know what I mean, doing what she was doing with her mouth, and then she all kissing him in the mouth on Facebook right after she left here. Like, why in the hell would I be jealous of a nigga that's got that going?
Because he got more swag than you.
I'll be like, that nigga just don't know what she was doing.
Don't you want her to be kissing you with nut residue on her lip?
We just need to quit.
Wouldn't you want to be the nigga with another nigga's nut residue on your cheeks and your lips?
Oh, man.
That's a very enviable position, isn't it?
Oh, my God, man. Well, niggas ain't trying to hear that. Niggas, they just on this shit where, nigga, you gave it $20.
Well, what it is this.
Yeah.
What it is this. They can't stand to see. See, when people get used to ignorance and deformity,
right,
they start to think that it's normal.
Right.
There's a difference between normal and natural. Niggas start thinking that the abnormal is normal. and that the normal is natural. That's the natural order of things.
Right.
Because to say that it's abnormal is a criticism against them.
He shot that white boy. What did you go and do now, boy? Hit a non-commissioned officer.
Well, CJ just lost his head.
Shut up! Get him out of here. They talking about giving you 5 years. They call what you did mutiny, boy.
That gun ain't mine.
We know that, CJ. We changed the charge on you this morning. You in here for striking a superior officer, boy. And everybody's seen it, too.
Why are you doing this to me, sir?
Oh, don't feel too bad, CJ. Has to be this way. You see, the first war didn't change nothing for the Negro. But this one, gonna change everything. Them Nazis ain't all crazy. Whole lot of people just can't seem to fit into where things seems to be going. Like you, CJ. See, the black race can't afford you no more. Oh, there used to be a time we'd see somebody like you singing, clowning, yassa bossing, and we wouldn't do anything. Folks like that. You were good. Homie kind of nigga. When they needed somebody to mistreat, call a name or two, they paraded you. Reminded them of the good old days. Not no more. The day of the Geechee is gone, boy. And you going with it. We can't let nobody go on believing we all fools like you. Waited a long time for you, boy. But I got you. I put 2 Geechees in jail in Camp Campbell, Kentucky. 3 in Fort Huachuca. Now I got you. One less fool for the race to be ashamed of. Be ashamed of.